Hello and welcome to the Ask Arlene show, where we help you to overcome fear, get unstuck, live a more courageous life. We're very excited to join you this evening because we have a special guest with us, and the guest is none other than Miss Deirdre Saleh. She has not joined yet, but while we're waiting for her, I just want to welcome you guys and say thank you for joining. If you are enjoying this Ask Arlene show, I'm inviting you to go to askarleneshow.com and subscribe so that you can get links in future and know all of the wonderful things that we're doing. Join our community and be able to get highlighted so that we can share the wonderful things that you're doing in your business project or in your endeavor. And so, one of the things that we do here is we help aspiring authors, to become published, as well as we help people who, well, not help, but even empower those who are entrepreneurs that want to expand their business and are looking for an opportunity to expand their business by getting on a show such as this one and many of the other show opportunities that we have accessible to us. Then after you come on the show and you're interviewed, then we give you an opportunity to gain several pieces of content because we clip it up for you, and then you're able to send it to your TikTok, to your Instagram, to your Facebook, and also on your website. Some people like to put their content on their website. And so it's just a really exciting process that we are able to use in order to help entrepreneurs, speakers, teachers, authors to grow and get their message out to the world. So the exciting thing today is that my Wi-Fi, as far as the platform that we use, was not working. And so that is why I am using an alternate route, which is talking to you via phone. But this is not usually what we would do. But the show must go on, right? And that is the name of the game in entrepreneurship, that we don't stop, but that we are unstoppable, empowered, and we keep going on and on. So I am waiting for our guest who is here. Wonderful. Our guest is here. And I'm just going to invite her up stage. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome,
Hello, hello,
welcome.
hello. The
Yes,
show
we're so
must go on.
excited to have you. Pardon?
Yes, the show must go on.
Oh, yes. And last time when we spoke last week, you were an aspiring author. You were doing your pre-sales. And I'm so excited because I'm introducing to you Deirdre Saleh, the not the author, the best-selling author on Amazon. Yes.
Thank,
Woo-hoo-hoo!
thank
She
you, thank
is
you.
moving and grooving, and we're so excited that we have been able to be a part of that process for her, helping her to become a best-selling author right here, right now. The the structure of you going from where you were as far as not having a book to having a book to doing sales, pre-sales before the book even came out, to now being a best-selling author is just really exciting for me. And well, exciting for all of us that have had the opportunity to work with you. I would just like to let those in the audience know that if you have not gone yet to purchase your book, go ahead. The website where you can purchase the book is bit.ly/the field 3. You may also purchase her book on Amazon at obviously amazon.com. And then you're going to type in the field God encounters. So I'm so excited to be able to share that. And the book is already a bestseller. When you go to the site, go ahead and type in your feedback on the book, because that's also going to push her up in the algorithm. How are you, Deirdre, today? How are you feeling about this whole process?
I'm overwhelmed. I'm excited. I am grateful. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm speechless, and I'm humbled by the entire experience and everything that's been going on. But yeah, my feet have not touched the ground in a little bit. I'm walking on cloud nine right now.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's just start first with, what is your background? What brought you to the table, and why is it that you wanted to be an author?
What brought me to the background was my experiences. My experience, one, as a believer. That was the first experience, as to be able to encounter um, God really working in your life, right? Me even asking the question before this all started was, I needed to know um, if I can trust God, if I can go to God, if He hears me, if He understands me. So it had to start with me first, asking God those questions, and then in my walk. And so then to be able to take that a step further beyond me, once realizing that it wasn't about me all along, but the process of what I had to go through to get to that place in relationship.
Okay. So, for those of you that don't know, her book is about the journey that she went on through her career. So, in her position, she was going to different places and visiting different people and interacting with different people. And so, the book now is about that journey and how she took the experience of the job, a regular everyday job, and turned it into a spiritually uplifting and then a literary experience that you can now use to transcend not just what you saw, but transcend and transform other people's lives who may be on their jobs and maybe doing something that they consider mundane, but they can now have this book as a tool to be able to find more light and more joy and more transformation within themselves, but then also in terms of the people that they're interacting with. So I was asking you, why is it that you came to this, or how it is that you came to this, and you were sharing a little bit of background with us. Tell me what it is that you would like people to know about your book.
Hmm. What I would, what I want people to know about the book is that you are in the book. Your story is in the book. You are the person that was passed by. You were the person that had that conversation. You were the person that we even met. You were the person that had that encounter. What I want you to know about the book is that God hears you and that He sees you. That it's not a book that is, I don't want to say religious book. I want people to read the book with an open heart. It's not about correction, but it's about real people. You are real people on this line. You have real problems, but we serve a real God who answers and hears. He may not answer sometimes the way you want, but what I want you to see is that He does answer, and it can be through a stranger. It could be, the answer can come with you standing online in the grocery store. So just to take your everyday things that you do, is to be able to pinpoint God where He is in your situation, that you would have that encounter, or you would be the one to encounter somebody else. You may be that answer for somebody else.
Wow. And you shared with us last week that you took this mandate very seriously, because you were not just a Christian going to church or going to Bible study, but
Right.
you were actually taking your message to the train,
Right.
the train
This
track.
all happened, and what I want people to know, this, God calls you. It's a personal call, right? It didn't happen in a church. You are the church. It happened with God speaking to me first. I believe that God will always speak to you first, and that as you venture out, then people will kind of confirm that. But what it is, it's a heaviness, it's a burden that, for me, it was to see people better off than when I left them. If for nothing else, it's to see people better off than when you left them. When you first met them, you know, and you saw some things might have been revealed, or they could have even told you things. But I believe that our job is to see them off better than we left them. The Bible says we are the salt of the earth. And so,
Light and salt of the
right?
earth.
So we need to do some preserving. We all can use some light, right? We all can use some preserving.
Another thing that I really like about your book, that you used your witness, but you didn't actually go to your job and start yelling and screaming, or not yelling and screaming, but you didn't
Right.
throw the Bible at anybody.
Right.
When you were in your journey and in your encounter, you were helping the people, which is what your job was, but
Mhm.
then you were also using that platform of
Right.
helping them to share why you were doing some of the extra and additional things that you were doing. So for those of us who may have jobs and we're like, oh, well, I can't bring my Christianity into my work,
Mhm.
or I don't want to offend anybody with my Christianity, how what would you say to them? Because you were able to use your
Mhm.
your heart for God and still bring it into your work.
Right. So again, when you walk in empathy, right? When you walk in compassion, it doesn't matter where you are, and it has nothing to do with your job. It's who you are. And those are the things that we walk in. We have to have empathy for other people, right? We have to show compassion. If compassion, I believe when God shows you that part, when God shows you that he's a compassionate God, when God shows you that he has grace, when he shows you that he's loving, it's our job to then give that to others. You know, my cup runs over. Your cup should be running over with these things. It should be spilling out of you that you're pouring into others. And I just feel like I think part of it is just meeting people where they are. You don't have to bash people over the head. Let your walk be your witness. And you
Yes.
never have to say a word. Let your walk, and people will know, right? People will know who you are. Like it's some of those simple things. People will look at you and they may never say a word, but they're watching. And so I would say that people are watching. And so we take that to know that, you know what, it's like you're on TV 24/7, because once you say you're a believer or you say you're a Christian, you are on and you are being watched. But most of all, God is watching. I think we lost
Yeah.
Arlene. Yeah, we don't see you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay. So, one of the things that I went, just to be a little bit transparent, I went to Oral Roberts University. That's where I did my undergraduate work. And one of the missions there at the college was to spread your light. I wasn't a religious major. My major was political science. And then I went on and did politics. But one of the mandates of the college is that even though you're not necessarily studying theology and you're not preaching from a pulpit, that you
Hmm.
should still let your light shine.
Absolutely.
And wherever it is that you go, you should take your light with you. And
Hmm.
so one of the things that you really did that was very poignant to me and beautiful is that you were taking that light into each one of these stories. So for those of you who haven't gotten the book yet or haven't had an opportunity to read it, there are several stories in the book that highlight the different visits that she did on her job. And then one of the favorite stories that I have, and we mentioned it at the end of the last show, was the one about the veteran that you
Hmm.
went to visit,
Right.
and he was about to commit suicide. And why don't you go ahead and just give a
Well,
synopsis of what
right.
happened with that
His
story?
story was when I met him, there was a vision problem and he was very depressed. The committing suicide part was before I met him. He decided he would share that story with me, because I asked him a question. It was kind of hard getting to him and getting him to kind of work with me a little bit. So I just asked the question of how was his faith, and
Mm.
he explained to me that he didn't have any. He explained that he grew up Catholic, but he did not have a relationship with God. And I just explained to him, it hurt my heart that, he would never ask God the question. He would never ask God for help because he had never asked before. And so he
Mm.
began to tell me this story about he was planning to commit suicide. He was going to go into a neighborhood where nobody would look for him, and he was going to jump in front of the train. Well, even though he didn't believe in God, God believed in him because he sent him help that day. And a gentleman was watching him at the train station on 125th Street
In
and
New York City,
in New York City,
where they say people don't care.
right? Because we busy, and that's part of the story. You know, your busyness uh, may prevent you from helping somebody. It's not about us. So the gentleman saw him and he said to him, "I see what you're about to do." And he said, "Come take a walk with me." Well, lo and behold, they went outside and they went for a walk. And the man explained to him that he was a pastor and he did minister to him, and the man did go home safely. And where I picked up in the story was that his vision was failing him, but he made it out of that. And it made him realize that God did see him and God did hear. And so we began to talk. And so his story kind of broke the ice that he felt that he could share that with me, and all that was going on in his life.
Mm. And then when you broke the ice, or were able to reach out to him and connect with him, he not only just broke the ice, but then you were able to really get in and help him in a greater way
Absolutely.
than you otherwise would have been. And
Absolutely.
so it just goes on to show that we never know where people are. We don't
Mhm.
know how desperate of a situation people are in. And
Right.
we might be operating on, oh my gosh, I can't speak about my faith, or I can't, share these types of messages
Hmm.
in secular spaces or places. But
Right.
in this particular situation, it's a good thing that you did, because that's really what broke the ice and
Hmm.
allowed that man to get the help that he needed. And so it was a win-win situation for you, because you were able to share, but then it was also a win-win situation for him, because now he got the services
Right.
that he really needed in a better way. Whereas initially in the story, when you were telling it, he really wasn't responding to your
No.
questions at all.
No. No. But
Yeah.
again, it's when you're walking in that realm, in that space, people begin to tell you their story. And then
Mm-hmm.
then there's a switch. There's a shift in that now you can come in, because again, like, it is my job, right? That's not what I'm there to do. I'm there to help them with other things. But where it shift is when they ask me the question, well, why are you always happy? Or why every time I talk to you, and then I can break the ice because they ask me the question. So
Mm.
Thomas like, well, why are you in such a good mood? Oh wow, because the grace of God, I woke up this morning, right? And so that'll start the conversation. So then it's like they lead the way, and then I just take off. That is my end once they start that conversation.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we're joined by some company today. I want you to go ahead and type your questions in the chat. Say hello. This is not a dialogue with just me and Deirdre, but we're welcoming you to participate with us. I want to say hi to Binta. She said, I love your words of wisdom, Deirdre. Thank you for inviting me, Arlene. You're welcome, love. And we have Michelle K. D6W. She says, your book is so real. I can definitely relate to your encounters. Great job. And then we have Becoming Dr. LJ FLMBA. Hello, hello, host, hello, guest, hello, chat. Wonderful to see you. And so we're talking about this wonderful book. It's called The Field. Show them your book, please.
Here we are.
It's called The Field God Encountered. And it's a book that highlights the journey that she has had in her job, and how she was able to use her faith and be able to, yes, there we go, the field God encountered, how she was able to use her faith and make a mundane regular job turn into some of the most miraculous and phenomenal experiences, both for her and also for her clients. And so we're talking about that. And then we're also talking about where to get the book, which is on Amazon. It's a bestseller on Amazon. You can also go to her website and get the book. And we're also sharing a little bit about the process. So tell me how the process was for you in the very beginning. when you came to the table, talk to me a little bit about the process. Were you scared? Were you thinking that you were going to have to do a lot of work in order to get this book out? Talk to me and tell us a little bit about the process, because there are people on who I'm sure would also love to work with us to get their book out.
Okay. So now that I looked at my phone today, that text that you sent me, and you said, I want to know where you are in your book. No matter where you are, give me a call. That was February 1st.
Wow. I don't recall asking you that. I don't recall that. I don't. I was surprised when you shared that.
It's today. I saw it. It was February 1st. I was in church.
Wow.
And
that was God, because I don't recall asking.
And I want to actually go back and look at that sermon that my bishop preached for February 1st, because he said something, and when he said it, your text came through. Wow. And so I have to do a little investigating on it. So that started the process February 1st. And then I think we spoke later on in that week. And I just had a bunch of paper, just had stories on a paper. And I'm not tech savvy, but I just was sending everything I had on my phone to Arlene. And she just began to work with the stories and write up contracts and tell me this is what we can do. And I love the options. So she gave several options. Well, you can do this and we can help you with this, or we can just take it into, I said, take the wheel, right? You have the stories, take the wheel. I'm not going to look up anything. I'm not going to do any of that. I trust you with it. I believe God's hand was on it. And so I just gave her free reign with the stories. And that just started it. I was afraid. Yes. How much it would cost was always my thought. Fear of failing was always, okay, so how is this thing going to work out? Like, because I serve a God that don't fail, but there's always the enemy. Like, well, this book, you've been talking about it for years. I've been talking about this book for years. Anybody know me? They've always heard, one day I'm going to write a book. It's going to be called The Field. One day I'm going to write a book. And so I've been seeing this for years. Well, I can say now that it has manifested. And it's not that I didn't speak to authors before. I didn't speak to, people who wrote books. I went online, write a book for $1.99. I tried all of that. And then I just didn't follow up. I wasn't ready. Or that's not what I want. Like, I didn't want this quick thing. I didn't know. So I was like, nope. And I was like, Lord, you're going to have to send me help, because I don't know what I'm doing. Honest enough to say, I did not know what I was doing. And so when Arlene came about, and it was like, that was a God encounter, even how we met. For those who weren't there, on the first meeting we had, we met through a prayer line that somebody introduced me to. And so God encounter, right? And so again, I just believe the timing of God. God wants us to succeed. And I do believe that he sends the help. But we have to be humble enough to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And so he does send the help. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So you started out, you had some papers, you had some stories, but you didn't actually have a book yet.
No.
But you had the idea, you had the desire, and you had the faith in us too, to trust us with the project.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I do want to say that for me, there were no pictures, there were no anything, and there was nothing to say that this is how I want this to look, and this is what I meant. They took the illustrations in this book. I promise you, I know that it was God sent because I was there. The pictures, the illustrations in the book, I just have to show this one. I hope y'all can see it. This really kind of blew my mind when I saw this picture, because all of them. It was like they were there, like they were, like Jenny on the block, like they were on the block with me. So this story, Fallen Oranges, right? The picture for Fallen Oranges, this picture brought me to tears, because that's exactly what it looked like. So when you get your book on page 64, remember this conversation, because it was like they were on the block with me. The meeting with the veteran sitting across from him, and the detail with him with the vet hat on just kind of blew me away. Sorry. Um, and so I say that to say this. Some people may never read the Bible. Some people may never walk in a church. But they can't take your story away from you. They can never tell you about your encounter and your experience with God. And yeah, I don't knock church. I go to church. I love church because the Bible says, don't forsake the assembling of those coming
Of the
together. Right?
righteous.
Right. So we need to come together. We need to learn. We need to be taught. And it's like going to church is like open up your newspaper. We need a word that only we can get sometime when we're in the house, when we're together, we're in there corporately, when we're in prayer corporately, when we're worshiping corporately. Yeah, there's a lot you can do by yourself, but together is where the power is. And so your story is your story, and nobody can ever take that away from you. And so me putting this in writing, and now that it's a book,
a best-selling book,
might I add, a best-selling book. It's only by the grace of God, and he gets all the glory for it, but he sent the help. And so don't let nobody take your story away from you. Tell your story. That is your testimony. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Your testimony is so powerful. Your testimony can actually change lives, right? And that's what it's all about. We want to see everybody better. Like, I'm in a place, my life is not perfect, but I'm content. Like I'm in this place that I am just watching the hand of God work in my life and my family, in my job, with my friends, with all of you, That's why we're together. There's no coincidence. It's all been a setup. It's all been a setup all along, right? So if you look at your life as being a setup, that's exactly what God sets it up. You're never alone.
Wow. So you touched on the fact that you had a story and you had it planted in your mind, but you had to begin to just take that first step. And then once you took the first step, then the other, which was contacting me and saying, okay, this is what I want to do, and getting the wheels in motion, then we were able to walk out some of the other steps that needed to take place and take your hand in order to do it. Yeah. And so, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's make sure that you agree.
Correct.
Okay. I would like to thank all of the team that went into putting this book together, because there's no I in team.
Exactly.
There were several people who are a part of the team that worked on this book. And I'm so grateful to all of them who went into putting this together. And so I cannot take credit for it. But I do believe that everybody has a book inside them.
Yes.
I believe we all have our story. And I think that sometimes we downgrade the story, or we feel that our story is not as important or as amazing as someone else's who has a book. And so I think that this book is a testament to that, because the stories are regular stories. I mean, not the occurrences, but the situations. Yeah. In the sense that you're working with a client. People work with clients. You're riding on a train. That's also a regular occurrence. Pardon?
Everyday stuff. Everyday
stuff. Right, everyday stuff. But it's in those everyday, quote unquote, almost mundane situations that you had extraordinary experiences.
Extraordinary. Yeah.
Okay, and then I think of another one of the stories. Every story was miraculous. Every story was miraculous, but it came out of just a regular mundane experience. And so there are so many people who are probably also watching who are saying, well, I'm just going through life. I'm just doing regular things. But
Mm-hmm.
those little things are you building your story.
Right.
And so I want everybody on here to understand that we're all here for a purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
so within your experience is a story. And it's important that we use Deirdre Saleh's experience of now becoming a best-selling author to also walk out our own journey. Let's use her as a testimony to say, I can too. And was it hard for you?
Was really what was hard for me, giving my stories over to you, or hard during the stories itself? You froze again. So Arlene has frozen. However, if I answer her question, what was it hard for me? Was it hard for me? No. Once I released the stories to her, it was very easy to let them go. Um, what's harder now is just the keep up, and now that the wheel is rolling, yeah, it's I find it to be a little hard sometimes. It's very, I feel like I'm being stretched in this process, which is good. It's a good stretching. So I feel like I am being stretched during this process. You guys, I can't see you, so I don't know what you guys are actually seeing or what you are actually hearing. Um, I think Arlene has lost her Wi-Fi in the car, because I don't see her as well. So we'll give her a minute to see if she can go. But while I'm here, the show must go on. Order your book today. And I'm going to do a shameless plug. For those of us that are in New York, we will have the book signing June 6th on a Saturday. Um, Franklin Avenue street openings. There will be a flyer that is going out. So that is my shameless plug of the book signing day. And I'm so excited, and I hope to see you guys there so you can get your book signed by me, my best-selling book. See that gold that's not on this book, but the books that you order have that gold stamp on it. Okay, I'm going to text Arlene and see. But if anybody is listening, send me a text on my phone, and then maybe I can answer your question because Arlene has fallen off. Tell me what you see or what you hear, if anything. Or are we all off except for me? Hello? Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Welcome back.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Binta says, yes, I can hear you. Ask and you shall receive.
Mhm.
Widowhood Real Talk with Tina said, hello from Virginia. Thank you both for this authentic discussion. Dion Brown says, you're her neighbor. I just bought my book today.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. And hello. Oh, yes, my TikTok friend, Joe Talented 10th. The Talented 10th, yes. She says, Dion says she's so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Authentic conversation. And you know what? I keep saying it, but I guess the show must go on. We must really be on the verge of sharing something really great because usually I don't have this much technical difficulty when I do a show.
Yeah.
But the ones that I have technical difficulty for tend to be the best shows.
I'm not
So
surprised. So you
where
know
were
what?
we?
Let me
I
say
was
this, right? So while you were off camera, I put in a shameless plug for the book signing June 6th in Brooklyn and at Franklin Avenue open streets. So you talk about these little things happening now. Normally you don't have these kind of things when this happen, but I recognize it's the enemy is pissed He's mad. He did not want this to come to pass. And so that is a good sign, right? Don't take it, we don't take that as, oh, we just having problems. No, why is this not working? No, this is what happens when you give the enemy a black eye, right? So he tries to cause these things, but the devil is a liar and he is defeated in my life. And so, yeah, things happen and that's okay. We keep the show moving, right? Um, and God gets the glory no matter what, no matter what. And this is, we have to learn how to pivot in this life. We need to learn how to shift in this life because things do happen. And so I encourage you to keep the ball rolling. Just pivot. Just pivot. That's all.
What do you think was the hardest part of this process for you?
The hardest part of the process, I don't know. I think I did say just being able to just give over the stories. The hardest part, I really can't say because you guys made it really easy for me. I gotta say that. I think the hardest part
That's
was
good.
trying to get a cover, but at a picture. But other than that, it was easy peasy. It was very easy. I can't really say me getting a light today was probably the hardest thing I had to do. Right.
The irony of this is that she had a beautiful cover, and she decided that she did not like the photograph on the back cover of the book. And that is okay. That is her prerogative to decide, because we want you to be happy with the product.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so if you don't like the picture, then we'll take the picture off. But
Hmm.
just as far as my own personal
Yeah.
decision making,
Yeah.
I just want to say that her picture was beautiful. She is beautiful inside and out. But I'm very glad that we were able to do it in a way that made you feel the most comfortable.
Yeah.
So that was the discussion that she mentioned about the photograph. It's a little bit of a secret, but you know, I guess you guys won't get to see the photograph. But maybe when I do display this, I'll just share with the audience the photograph so that they can vote.
It's not
But
me,
no, I
guys, but
mean, we're glad that you're happy, and that's what it's
I
all
am.
about. At the end of the day, you want to be pleased with your book, and so we're glad that you are pleased with it. We're glad that it's a bestseller. We're glad to be a part of your amazing journey, and we're glad that this is just the beginning. You
Yeah.
can now take your book. Once you have that book, it'll go places that I always say your business card will never go. So I was in California. I'm in California. This is where I live. I had a BNI meeting
Hmm.
yesterday.
Okay.
And so I took the book with me and shared it. I had a PWRG meeting. I took the book with me and shared it. And I don't know if she's on, but the lovely Wendy, is that her name, Wendy? She actually wanted to buy the book from me, but I only had one copy. And
Oh
I
wow.
needed to take it to the other meeting, so I couldn't. But I'm just saying
Okay.
that to say that you're thinking, well, maybe this won't be that big of a deal. But in fact, your book can go all over the place. Your book can go to other states. Your book can now be in the hands of whoever it is that needs to have your story and needs
Right.
to be touch moved and inspired by your story. So
Right.
anyone who's sitting on the fence and saying, well, maybe I'll work with the team or maybe I won't. The idea is to begin the process.
Start somewhere. Yeah.
Let's start somewhere and begin to
Your
move.
story
And
matters.
remember that
Right.
there's book one, but there's book two, there's revisions, there's the next edition. And
Right.
so even if you have a book already and it's based on your past experience, here is a book, here is the beginning. But she's going to have other opportunities and other experiences. And I do believe, Deirdre, that this is just the first that you will have of many projects.
It's so funny that, you know, and I would say to anybody, we can start this trend of creating these encounters, right? We can write a book together and creating your own encounters. And yesterday, literally, I went to the grocery store, and the woman at the cashier, I met her last week at a client's house, and she works right around the corner from my house. And when I saw her, I'm like, we looked at each other. It's like, this can't be. This can't be. I just met her for the first time last week, and she works right around the corner from my house. And
Wow.
there are 5 registers that I could have gone to, but I backtracked and went to her register. And when I looked in her face, we just couldn't believe that we were looking at each other again. Yeah. So this is why the book had to be written, because people need to hear that. Like the intersections and the crossroads of your life, they have been planned. They have definitely been planned. So take advantage of when you meet people. Don't be so caught up in your head and in your problem in yourself that you can't, you don't recognize these things. I want you to recognize these things. They're beautiful moments. And when you're having a bad day, you can look back and say, I can pinpoint God right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Michelle Q says, I am looking forward to your next book. Congratulations again, Deirdre. And Widowhood Real Talk with Tina says, what advice do you have for new authors? Okay, the advice for new authors. I'm going to let you go first and then I'll go.
My
Because you didn't
advice,
specify who is that question for? Which one of us is the question for?
okay. Well,
So
all
I
I'm going
think,
to say
like
is
I
just
said,
do it. I'm just going to say, just do it. You
just
have
do it.
somebody here. You have somebody here that can help you through the process. Ask questions. Listen, it doesn't hurt to ask a question. What do they say? The dumbest question not asked is the question that you don't ask, right? Ask questions. You don't have to jump in right. Just ask the question, well, how can I do this? Because I didn't know. I didn't know the steps. I didn't know what to do. So I had to ask. And Arlene was very patient. So what about this? What about this? And I meant through text message and all these things. And it's like, just ask the question. Just ask. Yeah.
You're a beautiful client in your defense. She was beautiful throughout the process. Thank you for sharing that and telling people to, just step into the space and step into the arena. And look, you can end up a bestseller. If you work with us, you will end up a bestseller.
Absolutely.
Um, the advice that I would have for new authors, in addition to what you said, which is to just step out and just do it, is to know that even though you don't have the finished product, like when you came to us, you didn't have a book. You
Right.
came to us with writings and an idea that you can go from whatever you have, wherever you are now, you can begin the process. Because one of the biggest challenges, I wrote a book, it's called 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living a More Courageous Life. And one of the biggest steps, it's step number 3, is momentum. I know you both from TikTok. All right, woo! Widowhood Real Talk with Tina. So one of the biggest steps is momentum, right? To just keep moving, keep moving. But the reason why momentum is so powerful is because even though you don't know all the pieces, when you begin to walk, the pieces of the puzzle begin to come together. And that's a principle. It's not just with the book, it's with life, it's with, going to college, it's with, getting married.
Right.
Okay. You know more about that. You've been married longer than I have been. Did you know everything about marriage when you first got married?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Did
It
you
was a
know
learn
all
as
the
you go.
things? Right, right. But you stepped out and now you've been married for what? How long? I know you've been married for a long time.
So I was married the first time, hey guys, for 23 years.
Wow. Right,
Yeah.
right. I knew it was a long, long time. So what you know now is not necessarily what you knew then. But as you
Absolutely.
begin to walk, the pieces of the puzzle come together. And also, I would say to new authors, it's about clarity, being clear that if you have a desire to be an author, you have a desire to put something together, that desire is there for a reason and it needs to be walked out. And I always use the example of my grandmother, who was a very gifted musician, but she never took a piano lesson. But in her heart and in her mind, she loved music. She would sit at the piano and she would just, futz around and just come up with beautiful tunes. So she was clear that music was her love, And so even though she didn't have all of the pieces of the puzzle, like the, the Tchaikovsky and the Beethoven training and the, Chopin and whatever, she did what she could. So she was clear. She had momentum, which is number 3. And number 2, she saw herself in that role. At some point, Deirdre, I'm celebrating you because you had to see yourself as an author. At what point did you see yourself as an author? That's number 2, visualization. We can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. And that's really a question that I would like to answer to. I would like to know when in this process she began feeling like an author, because the idea is to move forward even though you don't necessarily have that feeling, but to see it in your mind's eye. And whenever you feel like you can, just jump in, which I already have, Arlene. Yes, Binta already has the other book that I have written, which is also a bestseller. It's called 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear and Getting Unstuck. Are you back with us, Deirdre? Can we hear you? No, we can't hear her talking. All right, so I'm just going to continue. But I was saying that a big piece of the puzzle is that we see ourselves in those spaces and places. And if there is something right now that you're thinking, well, I would like to do this book. Like I met a man. Oh, here's Sandra. And she says, I'm anxiously awaiting your next book. Ha ha, you have no idea how proud I am of you. Congratulations and much success. Oh, love your mom. Oh, that's beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Um, it's so important for us to see ourselves in these spaces and places. And many of the people who've not written yet, the only reason why we haven't written is because we don't visualize ourselves as authors. We don't see ourselves in those spaces and places. But if we're here and we're still here, that means we're here for a reason and for a purpose and for such a time as this. And so let's get started, because the dreams need to be bigger than just us. If it was something that we could do by ourselves, we would already have done it. And that's why I'm so glad that Deirdre pointed that out. She said she had the thought, but she didn't know all the pieces of the puzzle. So the idea is, if you could do it yourself, you would already have written it. So you need help. And that's why there's so many of us in the world, because no one person has everything. So you may have the idea and somebody else has the other pieces of the puzzle to put the book together, or whatever it is that you're endeavoring to do, or whatever it is that you're endeavoring to accomplish. Is your volume back, Deirdre? Guys, type and tell me if you can hear me, because I can't hear her. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, respond and let me know. Can you see the questions in the boxes below, Deirdre? Oh, you don't see the comments. Oh, okay. So, well, we're going to sign off then, since she's not able to come back on. Um, but maybe you can try pressing volume. You probably have on mute of some sort. You probably got to take off. Ah, yeah. But we're inviting you to go to Ask Arlene Show and put in your information, click subscribe and put in your information. And that way we can contact you and share with you her upcoming event, as well as other upcoming authors and people who are in our community that are doing great and wonderful things. We're also asking you to go to YouTube at youtube.com/at Ask Arlene Show. And that's where you can go and watch this video once it's finished, or you can just watch it on the AskArleneShow.com, and you can be able to see it there for the next little while till next week, Thursday or so. But we're also asking that you go on YouTube and type in your comments to Deirdre, so that she can afterwards go on and read your comments and also respond to your comments in the chat there on the YouTube. And so we're also inviting you to participate with us, join the community, so that you can be aware of the different things that are going on with her and also with the community. And we're also asking you to drop us a line and let us know where you are in the process of your book, and be a part of our community so that we can support you and coach you into doing and achieving the goals that you have. Um, Binta says that she can hear me. Okay, okay, good. We've got 2 minutes more. See if you can get back on. Okay, she is here again on a different link. Let's see. Let's see.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm
I
going
have
to
my
take
phone. Yeah.
you off of this one. Okay. So in closing, we have just a few minutes. You were about to answer the question. Hopefully, you remember what the question was, and just share with us any last words that you might have. We're so happy once again that you are now a best-selling author. Thank you so much. This has been so informative. And keep in
Just
mind,
get the
the
book.
idea, the motto is
Just get
to
the
become an
book. Get the
author,
book.
to, yeah, put it right in the camera, to be seen, be heard, and get paid. So she was able to monetize her book before it was even launched. And that is one of the secrets. I don't want for us to write books and put them in our garage. I want to be able to help you to be financially remunerated for your books. Okay. And thank you again to my team who helped to put this particular project together. And thank you, Deirdre, for working with us. And thank you, our listeners, for being a part of this live today. Deirdre, do you have anything you'd like to share before we close out?
I
There's a
don't
little
think you
bit of
can
an
hear me.
echo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hold
perfect.
on. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay, so I'm on my phone. Difficulties, but that's fine. I just want to thank everybody for coming on. I want to thank Arlene and her team for bringing the vision to pass. But I want to implore all of us to work the field of our lives that we would help others. I love you all much.
thank you. And for those of you who are just coming, this is not usually how we do this show either. I'm not usually on my phone, I'm usually on my laptop. But you know what? The show must go on, and we're so grateful that you have been a part with us today. Get your book done, become an author, be seen, be heard, get paid. Thank you so much. Go to askarleneshow.com, subscribe, and let's all be able to achieve our dreams together in a bigger, better, and brighter way. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Until next week. This is just crazy. This is just